might liberals go, who are very fond of Pope Francis, to protect him? Once hailed for his progressive views on issues like homosexuality and climate change, he is now facing some very disturbing allegations made by one of his own archbishops, suggesting that he knew about the sexual abuse that was happening within the church ranks, very near the top, and then helped cover it up.
Church authorities in the past weren't always capable at adequately handling these crimes. The meeting with some survivors, 8 exactly, left a deep mark on me, and in many occasions I asked the Lord for forgiveness for the scandal and the sense of betrayal that was caused.
What do you see as the hypocrisy in the coverage on this story?
I mean, it's pretty astonishing. So several years ago, obviously, when the media started to delve into all of the sex abuse allegations against the Catholic Church, there was a great deal of enthusiasm, I think rightly so, in the press for investigating all of that. But now that Pope Francis is at the head of the church, and they like Pope Francis more than they like Pope Benedict in the left-wing press, suddenly they have to rush to Pope Francis's defense over these allegations. So the New York Times ran one of the worst headlines I've ever seen today, talking about how as the allegations against Pope Francis mount, conservatives pounce. How's conservatives pouncing on sex abuse allegations?
Let's put it up on the screen. Go ahead, Ben. I just want to put it on the screen for everybody to see that. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing accusation that the story is not actually serious allegations levied at the head of the Catholic Church by other lead members of the Catholic Church over a cover-up of sex abuse of children. No, the real story is that conservatives might use this to go get an icon for the political left. It just demonstrates that for the left, it does make you wonder whether it's an actual priority to protect children or whether the higher priority is to protect the politics that they see as imperative.
The Pope has a bigger agenda. He's got to get on with other things of talking about the environment and protecting migrants and carrying on the work of the church. We're not going to go down a rabbit hole on this.
Wow. We're not going down that rabbit hole. I mean, has he seen the stories that were published about the Pennsylvania diocese and what they did to these children?
How exactly is what Supich just said not the headline on every major paper in the United States? The only possible rationale is that a lot of members of the press actually agree that when it comes to choosing between leftist politics in the Catholic Church and protecting children, leftist politics have to take the center stage. The reality is that, can you imagine if Pope Benedict had said anything like this, 6-7 years ago when he was the head of the Catholic Church and when these allegations were in full swing against the Boston Archdiocese? Of course, it would have been the end of the world. And it should be the end of the world because when people in positions of power are covering for institutional, disgusting and criminal behavior, that should be the end of the world, particularly when it's a religious institution that is tasked with presumably God's word on earth. But instead, the press, at least at the New York Times, seem deeply concerned with protecting Pope Francis from any and all comers because they like Pope Francis. And it's I've rarely seen a more disgusting example of press behavior than this. It's truly an amazing, amazing thing. I think it is very important to put in context the fact that the Catholic Church, which has obviously an institutional problem with the sexual abuse of minors, is not unique in this way. There are lots of institutions across the United States and internationally in which abuse of children is sort of overlooked by people in power, specifically to maintain the supposed credibility of those institutions. The Catholic Church just happens to be the most prominent of them, and I think for good reason, because the Catholic Church, like other religious institutions, is seen and should be seen as a higher moral arbiter. The fact is that the Catholic Church stands at the precipice between secularism and religion, and Jews, Protestants, people of all other faith persuasions should be deeply troubled by what's happening inside the Catholic Church. Leading the way is Cardinal Blaise Cupich. Blaise Cupich is one of the archbishops, I believe, over in Chicago, and he is deeply tied in with Pope Francis, particularly. His comments on this scandal are absolutely disgusting.
The Pope has a bigger agenda. He's got to get on with other things of talking about the environment and protecting migrants and carrying on the work of the church. We're not going to go down a rabbit hole on this.
How insane is that statement? Hey, we're not going to go down a rabbit hole on stopping child molestation inside the church. We have to focus on greater issues like climate change and illegal immigration. Those are the bigger issues, not the sexual abuse of minors by people in positions of authority supposedly representing God and Jesus. No. What it really has to do with is protecting the Catholic Church from allegations that would stop their progressive agenda.
Little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that an Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time.